few minutes for people to join in. Only got 3 viewers right now. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hi, Sarah. Say more stuff. Okay, well, I'm just waiting for people to sign in, so yeah, let me know if you can hear me. I can turn my mic up louder. That should be good. Does that sound better? Can y'all hear me? Does this sound good? We're still waiting on several people to show up. Okay. Let's see how many people we got so far. If you guys want to say hi as you sign in, just right there in the live chat, you can join Sarah. Let me know you're here. Or not. Still have a few minutes here. Hey Shayna, thanks for joining. Amanda, what's up? Cool, cool. All right. I'm glad you guys are coming in ready. Does everyone have like some paper and a pencil and stuff to draw with? Hey Ellie. Everyone sign in here. Thank you, Shayna. Let's give it like another minute just to let everyone get in here. Hey, Victor. Marlena, what's going on? Hey, Native. All right. We'll get started here as people continue to come in. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over head proportions today. So for any of you guys that have been in my life drawing classes and stuff, this might just be like a reminder. It could be a good refresher. Get practicing again. So we're gonna keep it basic, keep it simple. If you guys remember, I always like to start with the shapes, right? Everything starts with simple shapes. So on my screen here, I'm drawing on my digital platform here, but like if you guys have paper or pencil, that would be awesome. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and draw nice and big, is we're going to start off with just like a nice loose oval shape. Okay. I have the ability to change to any color I want on this thing, so I will be changing my colors as we go. Yeah. So try to get just a loose oval. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go in and change the shape as we go, but right now we just want something that we can kind of throw some guidelines on. And then once you have that oval, what we're going to do is cut it in half both ways. So we're going to go down from the top, right? And we're going to go across the center too. And you want to really try to see if you can get that in the center of your oval shape. Cool. So you should have just kind of a loose oval shape now, divided in fours as best you can, trying to get in half and in half. We're going to go to the lower half of the face first, so we're going to try to find what's the nose line now. And the nose line is going to be the halfway point from here to the chin. Right, so if we can find the halfway space in between here, which for me looks to be somewhere around here, right, draw that in. This is going to be your nose line. So many happy highs in the chat. It's good to see everyone. Hey Catalina, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Anyone let me know if I'm going too fast or anything here. So I'm going to move on from this point. So we have our nose line. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut in half again from here to here to find what's going to be our mouth line. So we're going to go cut right in half again. This is going to be our mouth. Important to note, this is going to be like the bottom lip too, not the top lip, it's the bottom lip, because we don't want our mouth to get too close to our chin or it's going to look like we have our lips right on our chin, right? And we don't typically have that going on. Cool. So from this point, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our chin line, which is down here, and we're going to use the length that we have from here to here, and you're going to move that length up to here. So just using my fingers, right now I'm using my fingers on my screen as like a measuring tool, and I'm bringing it up, and it looks like it's going to be somewhere around right here, and then now we're going to create that line going across too, and this is going to be our brow line right above our eyes. eyes. And then now we have the brow. Cool. Is this going good for everyone so far? Just a bunch of highs going on. All right. So last guideline step, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this length right here again, right? And you're going to move that up to the top, and it should reach somewhere up to about here, which is going to just cut from the top just a little bit, and this is going to become our hairline, or where our hair starts on our head. All right. A little darker of a color. Cool. So now we have everything pretty much mapped out, and we can start to fill in our shapes. So you guys can really change this into any shape you want. I'm just going to kind of go for like a standard like male shape, so I'm going to make the chin a little like squared. So I changed my color to a little dark red here, and I'm going to come in and start trying to just shape out a little bit more of my face so it doesn't look like such like a lumpy oval anymore. Try to make this a little bolder so it's very clear. You can take that all the way up. Probably keep it loose around the top because we're going to add hair up there, so you don't want to go too dark because you're probably going to end up erasing most of the top anyways, depending on the hairstyle that you're going to add. You just want to try your best to make it look as same as you can on both sides. Cool, and then we get to come in and just like have fun with the details now. So now we know by our points where everything's going to go. So I'm going to start with the nose right here, and I'm just going to kind of create like a diamond shape that goes somewhere up towards the brow. Maybe something like that. Doesn't need to be anything really defined yet. We can always come back in and redefine as we go. And then the nose, for me, it always goes up to the brow and it leads to where I would put my eyebrows, right? So off of there, I just like to shoot that eyebrow, and then you know that the next one's just going to go right over here on the other side of it. Thank you, Ellie. And then the eye line is actually technically what you want to think of like as the bottom of your eyelid. So you don't want to put your pupil down there because it's going to be a little too low. Your pupil will technically be a little higher. So what I like to do is just kind of give myself a loose shape on top. Right, this is going to be like the top lid, and then put my pupil in there, just hovering right above that line. And then if you want, you can go ahead and draw in that bottom lid. And then that's what's going to float right there on that line. That's okay. If Alondra can't get in the chat, it's okay. We're gonna do the Zoom after, so everyone can show their drawings and stuff. So maybe that'll be better for her. Okay, so once we have that, we can go back down to the mouth, right? And so we know that this line is going to be the mouth, but it's the bottom lip, right? So it's not the top lip. So if I'm going to start my lip down here, it's got to be the bottom shape. So when you think of like, the bottom lip is usually a thicker shape. And then you can come in and add whatever kind of shape you want. You want to make the person smiling, or you can add any kind of emotion you want here. And then, you can make the upper lip as thick as you want or as thin as you want as well. One thing I learned, this isn't the case all the time, but generally, like if you're wondering like how big to make your mouth or your smile, um, if you just create like a straight line down from the pupil, usually that'll kind of be like a good indication of how long your mouth could go, and it'll look realistic in proportion, right? But if you're trying to make like a stylized character, you could always make it smaller or longer. That's always going to be up to you. All right. So we should have a face getting filled in here. Now we're going to go back up to our hairline right here. And so this is where the hair kind of generates, right? Like if you know someone who has like a really big widow's peak or something, this is where their hair is going to peak up from here, and it's going to come down, and it can do whatever kind of shape. There's a lot of fun like hair shapes that you see out there. If you might want to give someone long hair, maybe they're going to have some hair in front of their face, but you can kind of go with whatever you want. I'm going to give this guy some messy, crazy hair just for fun. Cool. So I don't want to go all the way to the bottom with the hair just yet, because there's one thing we're still missing from facial features. We're missing the ears still. And the ears do fall into these proportion lines. So if you have your brow line and you have your nose line, the ear is actually going to sit right in between them. So here's my brow line and here's my nose line. So when I come to draw my ear, it's going to start here, touch the brow line, and then kind of like a half shell shape, you're going to come down and it's going to end right there where that nose line is. Cool, and you can do the same thing on the other side. It's one of the really helpful things with this guide is that you can kind of have similar sides. You're not going to have one ear that's higher than the other. You can add whatever kind of detail you want in here. I'm just going to do a little quick wiggles, make it look a little more ear-like. And for the most part, this guy's face is pretty much done. If you don't want just a floating head, you can come in here and add in like a neck shape, maybe some shoulder, right? And then you have your funky Kramer looking guy from Seinfeld, or whatever kind of character you drew. Yeah, so that's going to be everything for the head proportions. If anyone has any questions right now while I have the live stream going, please ask them in the chat and I can show anything on my screen still. Yeah. Here, while everyone's finishing up, I'll just do like an outline on mine. I don't know if anyone's ever used like any sort of digital software before, but this is similar to. That's fine, Shane. I want you guys to create your own thing, so that's perfect. This is similar to Photoshop. It is an Adobe product. It's called Adobe Fresco. But the one nice thing about the digital softwares is that you have the layer feature. So now I can just turn off and turn on whenever I want, and I can draw right on top of it, which really helps for outlining and stuff, which is why these are very popular in the industry. So if I just came in here with a nice dark black, I can really kind of solidify my lines, maybe make important decisions about what I want his facial structure to look like. If I want him to have like a more defined chin, maybe I drew a female, I want more like of a feminine, rounder chin. Oh, I can do that. You want me to draw female too to see the differences? Let's go into that then. Alright, change my color. Oop. Okay, so I'll kind of that's cool that you made a self-portrait of yourself. It's gonna go the same way. So if you guys, I might just go a little quick through it, but just like follow along if you like. It's gonna start exactly the same proportions, the oval and the line structure, and then from there I can just kind of turn it more into a feminine face. So, oops, there we go. All right, so we're gonna have our oval shape, and again, the oval shape doesn't matter because as you saw at the end, I just kind of redid everything to fit the shape that I wanted. Let's go with a different color. And I'm going to do the same thing, right? So I'm going to split it in half both ways. Up and down. Hi, Sari. Feel free to try again with me. I'm doing another one. We're drawing a lady this time. Right, so if you guys remember, so we have this shape now, which is now our eye line. And then I know where my chin is going to be roughly, right? So now I need to cut this shape in half right here. So we're just going to roughly find where the halfway point there would be. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just make sure it looks pretty good on your page. I miss you too, Sari. Thanks for joining in. And so now this is our nose line, right? So we're going to cut the nose line in half with the chin line, so somewhere in the halfway point, and we're going to find our lip here, our mouth. And then if you guys remember, so now we got to find our brow line and our hairline, right? So what we do is we take our nose line and our chin, the length right here, and we just move that right up. And for me, it looks like it's going to be somewhere right around there. Looks about the same size. Goes through. We have our brow, and then I'm going to take that shape, the brow, or sorry, the nose line and the brow, and then I'm going to move that up, and that's going to give me my hairline, which looks like it's going to come right around there. Okay, so now I have the same thing that we started with, right, with the with the male character. What color do I want to do? Maybe like a dark blue. Okay. So now we just get to define our shapes again. So we get to, instead of going for like a masculine shape like I did with, which was like more of a, typically like a square jaw, maybe like harder features and stuff like that, we're just going to try to keep everything softer, rounder. So you still want to come in and define your shapes. Keep everything nice and soft and loose. So like the chin can be rounder, maybe a little more narrow. The face itself would also be a little more narrow, not so wide. And again, these are just like the general drawing proportions. This doesn't mean that everyone's face is going to follow these instructions. Okay, but so we have a nice, softer, rounder chin. It should just look like less angular, which is just going to give it more of what would be like considered like that, like the feminine kind of a feature. And then we get to come in and kind of define our shapes again. So if I'm going to do a female, I probably don't want such a broad nose. So I'm going to go in, kind of stick to that diamond shape, but I might just not even take it up. I might just do like an indication of it. And then I know that somewhere up here it's going to create the brow. The brow too, you can kind of create more of a curve to it. More of a curve. Right, and then you can have fun with the eye shape if you want to give it like makeup. Yeah, sorry. Let me know if this is loud enough. I'm trying to do it on my headphone speakers because otherwise my computer picks up too much of the fan. Yeah, and then you can also turn the volume up on the computer too, right? Or on the cell phone. So now we're gonna come into the eye shape. So we know with the eye shape, when we did it with the guy, I just kind of created a line here and a line here under the brow. But one thing you can do to make it look a little more female is you can kind of make the ends a little thicker and a little darker to kind of create like the longer eyelash appearance. Right? You can even add in a little bit of the eyelashes if you wanted to. You can come in there with the eyes again. It's all basically the same stuff, right? Just a little differences here and there. You can come in, you can bring in the bottom lash. You can make that a little darker too if you're picturing like there's makeup down there as well. Alright, and then we're going to go into the lip, right? And so what we can do here is any kind of shape you want. Again, this is why it's like you're kind of designing your own character here, because you can do anything. They can have really thick lips, they can have really thin lips. As long as you kind of follow that structure of just like keeping it nice and round and soft feeling, it'll kind of follow that female form. Cool. And then so what we can do is we can go up to the hair, and something that'll also help here just pretty easily, right, is just to kind of add in some longer hair. So you can have hair coming down in any kind of shape that you want, whatever kind of hairdo on top that you want. Try to think of like where that original skull shape is, and like, so you don't want the hair to be exaggerated too puffed out, because otherwise it's gonna seem like a crazy hairstyle, which is possible though. So I don't know, do whatever you want. Yeah, if you have a hairstyle in mind, the hair can be covering the ears, or again we can draw the ears, which if you remember is right here on the brow to the nose. Yeah, you can definitely make your character a Molly, Marlena. That'd be really cool. That is true. So some of us do just have crazy hair. If you're drawing one right now, you should definitely draw one with like some really curly hair. You gotta represent. But yeah, you guys can really go any direction with the hair. Any hair, like hairstyles are just, there's so many possibilities that you can do. And then typically too here, if we're trying to go for the typical like female look, we want to like think of like a smaller, thinner neck, not as thick as the male one, right? And then the shoulders kind of come from more of like a nice curve as well. and you wouldn't have such like wide shoulders as well. Cool. So I hope that helped too. If that was like the difference you needed. It all starts the same, right? Like it all started with that underdrawing, and then from there I can just add anything I want onto there. I can make it more masculine. What the heck are fringe bangs, Susie? We can save really specific hairstyles for another class. But yeah, from there you just you can go in and add your final details. So I do want to do a Zoom after this so everyone can show their drawings. So if everyone's still working, take a few more minutes. I'll go over this real quick with a black, and then we can send out the Zoom link and we can all show what we worked on. All right. If you want to work on something specific like that though, Susie, just let me know for next time so we can actually have it ready to go. I'm not gonna sit here doing Google image searches on my YouTube live video. Yeah, Sarah, if you want to post it, you can post it, and then we can all start jumping in there. I just figured I'd give everyone a few more minutes to work on stuff, but they can also jump onto the Zoom while they're still working, and then we can show off what we created today. Cool. So Sarah's gonna, if you can, post the link right here in the live chat, and then we'll all join in there, and everyone can have their own word to say and show off. And then if you have more questions too, I can answer on there as well. Nice, Kylie, I'm glad. That's awesome. Get some Instagram worthy stuff out of this. Yes, thank you, comedian Susie, for your constant commentary. I can't wait for the commentary to continue over in the Zoom chat. Where was the... There we go. All right. So there's the Zoom. I'll start the meeting now. So if you guys want to jump in, I'm going to end the live stream. Give me like a minute or two, and then the Zoom meeting should be up, okay? And I'll see you guys there.